Hi guys, thanks for joining me here again at Happy Rituals. Today I am going to talk to you about the power and importance of thinking for yourself. This recently came to mind as something that I wanted to talk about as the result of me finally getting around to reading a very popular book that a lot of people have read in the last, I think it's been out for about a year and a half, and I'll tell you exactly which book it was. But before I get started, be sure to subscribe before you leave and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. So I recently listened to the book Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis, and the first thing that I want to say is that I think she is a phenomenal human, a great writer. The book kept me engaged for the most part, and in full transparency, I knew getting into it that I was not going to morally, ethically, or philosophically believe with everything that she said, which is one of the reasons why it took me so long to read it. So I purchased the hardcover book when it was still fairly new when I purchased it, and I don't read as many books as I listen to on Audible. So last summer, I was finally like, you know what, everyone is still reading this book. They're still talking about this girl. I just need to read this book. I downloaded it on Audible. And shortly thereafter, I started to see articles pop up here and there about everything that was wrong with this book and the author. Now, I do not expect everyone to agree with me on those most important topics that people tend to disagree on, right? Okay, so politics, religion, and college football. I am totally fine with people who don't agree with me on all three of those things or any of those three things. Completely fine. I appreciate and respect every human on this planet who stands up for what they believe in. Now, so I probably hesitated listening to this book a little bit because I knew that I wasn't going to agree with everything that she said. And at the time that I purchased the book, I was really excited because I do, as I've mentioned before, I like to read personal development books on occasion. So I was excited about this one, especially with all the hype around her. So I put it off for a while, and then I ultimately got to the point where I spent the money on this book. It's not fair for me to return it to Audible because it turns out that I may not agree with the author's views, right? That's not fair. And then I was like, I live by the fact that it takes everyone on this planet to make the world go round, good, bad, and ugly. So I finally got myself to a place where I said, I'm going to listen to this book with an open heart and mind, and I know that I'm going to get what I'm supposed to get out of it. I recently had a fairly small road trip, about 3 hours in the car each way. The book is about 7 hours long, so it was a good time for me to listen to it. So I listened to this book over the course of approximately 2 days in the car. And again, remember, there was this shift from, oh my God, I'm going to love her because everyone does, to, oh my God, I can't trust her. So let me talk just a little bit more about this before I go into more detail about my listening experience. So Brene Brown is a good example. Oprah, Shonda Rhimes, women in this world that I truly respect, even though my views don't always align with theirs. But they're also generally people in my circle, which tend to be people more like me, really like those people. People in my circle who tend to be like me also really like Rachel Hollis. And I love and appreciate every single one of you that does. I ultimately did I got exactly what I was supposed to get out of the book. I did not hate it. I actually set an intention before I started listening to the book the morning that I left. My intention that I set before I started listening to this book was, I will listen to this book with an open heart and mind. I trust that I am going to get exactly what I'm meant to. And with that, I started the book. And again, I did not enjoy it, but there were definitely glaring things about the book that I disagreed with. But that was fine. For the most part, I looked past it. There were definitely a couple things that were fairly judgmental that I was like, girl, get on our level. But it was fine because, again, just because she doesn't agree with me doesn't mean she's a bad person or not smart. I actually think she's brilliant. The only thing that I truly like disagree with, in a sense that I want to share with you, is just how she made it sound like she built this party planning business from the ground up, pulled herself up by the bootstraps, new girl to LA, didn't know anyone. Well, that's not true. You know, she had her husband and his contacts and his network to help her get off the ground, which is why she was planning parties for famous people pretty quickly. Good for her. Own it, girl. Like, if I had that kind of network, I would 100% capitalize on it. But admit it. So as I listened to this book, you know, it was much more glaring to me that I did not need to agree with everything that she said. And this is the first like true mainstream personal development book that I read or listened to that I really captured that, which is what prompted me to make this video for you guys today. If I had listened to this book a year ago, or whatever it was, a year and a half, 2 years ago when it first came out, when I first purchased it, if I had read it then, I probably would have wound up angry, to be completely honest. For one thing, I was at a different place in terms of this spiritual, mindful journey that I've been on. But I also would not have been prepared for her strong opinions on things that I don't agree with. And it helped that I was prepared. So as I'm listening to this book, you know, I am careful not to challenge everything that I don't agree with, but I am conscious of the fact that I need to listen to what she says openly. Women have been taught their emotions aren't valid. Women can very easily be labeled as emotional, you know, irrational, only responds emotionally, you know, abrasive. And it's much more common for a woman to keep her opinion to herself because she doesn't want to be seen as any of those things, meaning responding emotionally, you know, because a man may turn around and say, oh my gosh, she's so emotional. You can't talk to her about anything because she's just going to start yelling and screaming or crying or whatever. When we communicate from a place of compassion, but we honor ourselves and we protect our energy, we're able to convey our disagreements in a very educational and meaningful way. Something about this experience was that, yeah, I'm sure we all experience it. We get caught up in the hype about something. You know, there was hype around girl wash your face. And I got caught up in it. And mostly because the people who I saw who enjoyed it, I know and love and trust and respect. So I completely expected to be on the same page with them. You guys get the point. I'm going to stop talking about that now. But keep in mind, you don't need to write someone off just because you don't agree with them. Again, I have family, I have coworkers, I have friends that I do not agree with them politically or based on religion, based on college football. You know, I say that jokingly, but at the same time, I'm super passionate about my football team. So what I want you to do is to be curious about your opinions, especially when you notice that your opinion about something has changed. Something that is like trending on social media and in the news right now is multi-level marketing businesses and how they, you know, essentially dupe people into joining a pyramid scheme. I'm not going to address MLM businesses in this video. However, you know, I'm willing to support my friends, and I was always willing to consider one of those opportunities if it felt right. And then, you know, I've read the blogs, I've watched the videos, I've read the reports, you know, and my opinion is starting to shift slightly about multi-level marketing. I am not so open-minded about it now. But this is an example of a recent experience that I've had where my opinion about something has changed. So I've challenged myself to get curious about it. Okay, Julie, that's fine, but why? Why are you not so open-minded about it? Why are you getting a little bit anxious when you're seeing the posts in your social media feed about what your friends are doing? It's because I get concerned about companies that take advantage of people. Not all of these companies take advantage of people, but some of them do. Of course, that's always going to happen. But it's going to make me more anxious about all of them, right? Because now that I know some of them take advantage of people, I'm going to be skeptical of all of them. And when I see my friends involved in these businesses, even though I'm going to support them in the best way that I can, I also start to get a little protective. Like, well, I hope they're okay. I hope that they know what they're in for. I hope that they're protecting themselves. You know, so that's kind of the thought process that I've been going through over the last about 5 days that I've been reading and watching this stuff. You know, so again, that's just an example. Again, just to reiterate, not all multi-level marketing is bad, and I fully support my friends who do it if I trust them to make the right decision for them, and I will support them in the best way that I can. But that said, make sure that you're challenging your beliefs and what you think too, because again, things change. And as things change, and once you start getting curious about the way you feel about things, even if it's something that you have always felt, you know, just get curious about it, you know, and it's going to lead you to not only start thinking about it, you know, thinking really hard for yourself, but researching it and making you more knowledgeable, which is always a good thing. And sometimes that research and thought process might lead for you to change your mind, which is also totally cool, because that's what you were meant to get out of the experience. So with that, I challenge you to go against the grain, be curious, be weird, because sometimes we have opinions that make us weird, and when we voice them, people think we're weird. Just do it. You do you. But most importantly, love one another. It doesn't matter that you guys don't agree on something so important. You can thrive in a friendship or relationship with someone that you don't agree with, and it's going to make you stronger and smarter. So I challenge you not to write people off because they don't agree with you, but definitely from a place of love and compassion, honor yourself by voicing your opinion in a respectful but clear and honest way. So with that, I hope that you got something out of this video. Love one another, trust one another. We're all vital to make this world go round. Protect your energy and honor yourself. And I cannot wait to see you again next week. Thank you.